Hey everyone, and welcome to this brief meditation. This meditation will be all about using the seasons for inspiration. And so we find ourselves now at the end of winter. We have about 19-ish days left of the season. And after winter comes spring. And so in this meditation, we'll be working with this idea that winter is about slowing down, going in, going underground, getting a little bit internal, and allowing insight to come via this kind of really quiet inward type of energy. And what we do with that insight is then use it to plant seeds that will eventually sprout in spring. And so these seeds are our dreams, our plans, our goals, our ideas, our projects. And once spring comes, it's about stepping out. Things warm up, we start to see some green, some blossoms, and we really allow ourselves to participate in our own lives. And of course, we're doing this all the time, but just by working with the archetypes of the seasons, just gives us a refined chance to look at things in this way. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat, sitting on a chair, the floor, a block, whatever seated meditation pose you like. You can even lie down if that is what you're feeling today. Take a few rounds of breath, maybe exhaling through the mouth, just to settle. And then as you're ready, if it feels comfortable, close your eyes, or you could always just leave them 9/10 of the way closed. Start to focus on your breath moving in and out the nose. If you know Ujjayi Pranayama, the toning of the back of the throat, creating an ocean-like sound to your breath, that's a great practice to take on, as the audible nature of your breath allows your mind to focus a bit more. Imagine that you're working with this dynamic line of energy that moves through you, all the way from the space far, far above you, the heavens, the cosmos, the sky, down through the center of the crown of the head, the skull, the throat, the chest, the abdomen, into the center of the pelvis, down into the earth far below you. So that you can imagine roots dropping from the center of your pelvis down into the earth, so that you're well anchored, well established. You have the tenacity to be here for this experience. You can also follow that line all the way back up through your center, through the crown of your head, as if the crown of your head was like a little antenna, yearning, reaching, striving for more information from the dreamy, esoteric, cosmic space far, far above. Then we'll open up the frame of the front of the body, the frame of the torso, so that there's more space in the interior. Bring your awareness to the front of your left hip and exhale all of your air. As you inhale, draw an imaginary line from the front of your left hip all the way up to the right shoulder on the diagonal. Hold the inhale full and imagine you could move the right shoulder away from the front of the left hip, so you really open up space. And then exhale, right shoulder all the way down to the front of your right hip. Inhale, front of right hip all the way up to the left shoulder. Hold full and imagine you could move those 2 points away from one another. And then exhale, left shoulder all the way down to the front of the left hip. Inhale, left hip on the diagonal up to the right shoulder. Hold full for a beat, find space. And then exhale, right shoulder all the way down to the front of the right hip. Inhale, front of right hip, all the way up to the left shoulder. Pause, find space. And then exhale, left shoulder all the way down to the left hip. Inhale, left hip up to the right shoulder. Exhale, right shoulder down to right hip. Inhale, right hip up to left shoulder. Exhale, left shoulder down to left hip. Inhale, left hip up to right shoulder. Exhale, right shoulder down to right hip. Inhale, right hip up to left shoulder. Exhale, left shoulder down to left hip. Inhale, left hip to right shoulder. Exhale, right shoulder to right hip. Inhale, right hip to left shoulder. And exhale, left shoulder down to left hip. And from here, bring your awareness to the center of your chest. And as you inhale, imagine from the center of your chest, you go up to the right and left shoulder and right and left hip. Pause briefly at the top and open up space between those 4 points. Exhale through the mouth as you lengthen up through the crown of your head. Inhale from the center of your chest, out to the 4 corners of your torso, shoulder, shoulder, hip, hip. Hold really full. And then open the mouth and exhale through the crown of your head. Center of sternum, inhale, out along those 4 diagonals, shoulder, shoulder, hip, hip. Find space, be full. Hold the inhale. And then exhale through the crown of your head. Just go back to regular inhales and exhales with an awareness of the space that you've created in your torso. Just give yourself the space to consider that as you reach the end of this season of winter, what has been lightly or greatly ruminating for you? What ideas have you begun to consider? What insight have you gleaned from this more quiet time of the year, especially these days? What have you considered as something you'd like to see eventually come into fruition as the seeds planted underground in the depths of winter begin to burst through the surface in spring and take on a life of their own? This could be an actual plan or a goal or a dream. This could just be a seed of intention. Sort of, what would you like to embody? What kind of energy would you like to see sprout as you move forward into spring? So really no rules, no strict guidelines to how you see this seed that you'd like to plant. Just allow yourself to imagine like a seed or a gem or a light at the center of your sternum. Be a symbol for what you'd like to see sprout as you move from winter into spring. And follow that seed down into the center of your pelvis and imagine that you bury that seed deep in your own ground. And no rush to see this intention start to sprout yet. Just let it land in your soil, land in your depths. Give yourself the gift of being in this moment, in this season, knowing that all the insight, all the ideas, all those little sparks of imagination that you've allowed yourself to come to know in the quiet of winter will eventually sprout. But for now, just focus on the center of the pelvis, your ground, your root system, and allowing that seed to find space there. Staying with the breath. If the mind wanders, just take the focus back to the process, the cycle of the breath in and out with a peaked awareness of the seed planted in your depths. Bringing your awareness back to the roots and also up through the crown of your head. Finding hands at the center of your heart, either in a prayer, Anjali Mudra, or you can take palms to heart center. Finding a moment of gratitude for this time you set out for yourself to honor this vessel of your body with the power of the mind and the fluency of the breath to give you the support for the seeds that you plant so that they're well rooted, well grounded, with immense potential to rise up, to sprout, to blossom. With the stability and the floor of the earth underneath you, and the vastness of the cosmos above you. Namaste.